Hello and welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to try and unravel something that, well, it touches almost every one of us every single day. The world of social media.
It really does. It's everywhere.
Exactly. And more specifically, we're plunging into that often misleading thing we call the highlight reel.
Ah, yes, the highlight reel.
But this isn't just about the photos or videos we scroll through. It's really about the language we use, the words we use to describe and interact with, and even, create this whole digital landscape.
That's such a crucial point.
And as we'll discover together, understanding this unique vocabulary isn't just interesting, it's actually essential for navigating this new, complex online world. And honestly, it's a fantastic way to sharpen your modern English skills at the same time.
It really is. And it's truly striking how this whole phenomenon has evolved. It's like a global obsession now, isn't it?
It feels like it.
We've kind of moved beyond just sharing moments. Now it's all about meticulously curating our lives online. We pick the most flattering angles, the most perfect-looking experiences.
Instead of just living them.
Precisely. Instead of just living them as they unfold. And this constant editing, even if we don't always realize we're doing it, it sets up this relentless, and let's be honest, inherently unfair comparison.
Totally unfair.
It's a rigged game, really, designed, maybe not intentionally by us, but by the platforms, to keep us scrolling, keep us comparing.
And feeling like we're falling short.
Exactly. Feeling like we're never quite measuring up. And the vocabulary that's popped up from this digital era, it's not just slang, It's become the very lexicon of our modern anxieties, our aspirations even.
That's a great way to put it, lexicon.
Yeah, and mastering these terms is actually key to, well, to truly mastering modern English. It allows you to articulate the nuances of a world that's increasingly lived online.
Absolutely. So the source material we're diving into today, it's a really insightful conversation that brilliantly dissects the English language, but specifically through this lens of social media's huge impact. We've pulled out the most potent insights, the most telling vocabulary, the most maybe surprising nuances. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut.
A shortcut to understanding.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding not just this crucial modern thing that shapes, billions of lives daily, but also it's a fantastic way to enrich your English language skills. You'll get terms that are now deeply embedded in our everyday chats.
So you can talk about it better.
Right. You'll be able to articulate those complex ideas and feelings about your own digital experiences with, hopefully, far greater precision.
Okay, so our mission today, it's kind of multi-layered. We're aiming for a pretty comprehensive exploration here.
Right.
We want to unpack this powerful illusion that social media creates so skillfully.
The illusion of perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And analyze its consequences, which are widespread and often quite subtle on our mental well-being. And then look at potential solutions, practical ways to maybe cultivate a healthier digital existence.
Which isn't always easy.
Not at all. And critically, all the way through this, we're going to be focusing intently on this specific vocabulary, the specific phrases that have emerged directly from this digital era.
So listeners get the dual benefit.
Precisely. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only gain critical insight into social media's complexities, but at the same time, you'll learn practical, modern English phrases and idioms, things that will undoubtedly make you a more fluent, more nuanced and informed communicator.
Okay, let's do it. Let's truly unpack this together.
All right, so as we start peeling back the layers of this digital world, there's one deception that, well, it seems to stand out above all others. It relentlessly shapes our perceptions. It's what we're calling the illusion of perfection.
Mm-hmm. The big one.
Yeah, and this isn't just a minor thing. It's insidious, it's pervasive, it's across all social media platforms, isn't it?
Everywhere you look.
Think about it. You're scrolling through your feed, maybe late at night, and you see someone's perfectly lit, expertly filtered photo. Maybe it's a lavish vacation in Bali.
Always Bali, or somewhere equally exotic. Right. It's all sunshine, infinity pools, gourmet food, just utter bliss, it seems. Or maybe another post shows like effortless career success, a perfectly organized home office, a triumphant smile over some complex project they finished.
Or the perfect family photo. Everyone smiling, matching outfits maybe.
Always harmonious, and maybe you're sitting on your couch, still in your pajamas.
Feeling a bit rubbish.
Yeah, and you feel that familiar pang of inadequacy, that little whisper in your mind asking, why isn't my life like that?
We've all been there.
Definitely. But here's the thing. What you don't see in those meticulously crafted images are the crucial, often messy, details.
The stuff behind the curtain.
Exactly, like the mountain of debt they might have racked up just for that Bali trip.
Right, or the huge argument they had with their partner right before taking that smiling selfie.
Or the fact that they spent like an hour taking 100 photos, fiddling with filters just to get that one perfect shot.
The endless retakes.
Yeah. You don't see the late nights, the stress, the failed attempts, the self-doubt behind that big career win.
Nope. Or the kids' tantrums 2 minutes before that perfect family picture was snapped.
Or just the quiet frustrations of everyday family life. It's a carefully constructed, well, you used the word earlier, performance.
Performance is a good word for it. It's designed for public consumption.
It is, and it leads perfectly into this key piece of vocabulary.
You mean facade?
Exactly, that carefully constructed facade. Tell us about that word.
Okay, facade. F-A-C-A-D-E. This is a useful word here. It basically means a false front or appearance.
Like the front of a building.
Exactly. Think of it literally like a grand building. The front might look magnificent, imposing even, but behind it, or maybe around the back, the structure could be crumbling, or it could just be a chaotic mess inside.
Okay, makes sense.
So in the context of social media, it's that carefully curated online persona, the polished image you present to the world, versus the often much messier, more complex reality of the actual person.
The real person behind the screen.
Right. This word facade, it just perfectly captures the performative nature of our online presence. We're constantly, maybe even unconsciously, putting on a show, selecting only the most Instagrammable moments, the highlights.
So understanding this word helps you see through it a bit.
Definitely. Understanding facade helps you critically analyze what you're seeing online. It's like a tool, really, for deconstructing that online world. It allows you to recognize that the online identities you encounter are often constructed. They aren't necessarily, fully authentic or representative of a whole life.
It's not about judging them, though.
No, not at all. It's more about discerning, recognizing the difference between presentation and reality. And this isn't just online, of course. A business might present a facade of prosperity, even when it's struggling financially. Or someone might maintain a facade of happiness in their daily life to mask maybe deep sadness or personal struggles. So knowing facade isn't just about getting social media. It's about understanding human behavior, that gap between outward appearance and inner reality in loads of contexts. It really enriches your vocabulary for describing the complexities of human experience.
That's a really powerful way to think about it, discerning authenticity. And it does force us to ask, doesn't it? Why do we feel this need, this compulsion to put on this facade in the first place? Is it just for validation? Is it trying to fit in? Or projecting an image we wish was true?
All of the above, probably.
Probably. Because this pressure to perform, to keep up this illusion, it's not harmless. It comes with pretty significant consequences.
Indeed. And that carefully constructed facade, it isn't benign, as you said. It really does exert a profound psychological toll. It pushes us into this relentless cycle of comparison and self-doubt.
Right.
Maybe we could explore how that works.
Yeah, let's do that. Because this performance, this whole illusion, it has profoundly serious real-world consequences. It goes way beyond just a momentary pang of envy when you see someone's post.
It really does.
We're seeing this undeniable surge in things like anxiety and depression, particularly among young people, yes, but honestly, it affects all ages who spend a lot of time online.
It's across the board.
They are relentlessly measuring up. There's another key phrase against these impossible, often unattainable standards, sometimes without even realizing the game is rigged against them from the start.
And that creates this insidious, vicious cycle.
Totally vicious. We scroll, we see what looks like a perfect life, perfectly curated, and we inevitably feel bad, right, inadequate about our own, comparatively imperfect lives.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? In response, we often feel compelled to post an equally perfect, maybe even more perfect version of our own lives. We're desperately seeking that validation, that feeling of belonging in this perfect online world.
And then someone else sees our post.
Exactly. Someone else sees that. And the cycle just continues. They feel inadequate in turn. It's this really damaging, self-perpetuating loop.
It truly is. And that phrase you used, measuring up, that's so crucial for understanding this whole dynamic.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
Okay, so measuring up, it's a phrasal verb. And it essentially means to compare oneself favorably to others, or maybe to meet or even exceed a certain standard or expectation.
So, like, am I good enough?
Pretty much. If you say you're measuring up, you're basically saying you're performing well, you're hitting the mark, meeting the standard. But what's truly insidious here is that this pressure isn't accidental. It often gets amplified by something called social comparison theory.
Okay, what's that?
It's a psychological concept.
Uh-huh.
It basically explains how we humans naturally evaluate ourselves by comparing ourselves to others. It's just something we do.
Right, to see where we stand.
Exactly.
Oh.
And social media platforms, with their endless streams of these carefully curated lives, well, they're like perfectly designed echo chambers for this comparison.
Build for it.
Almost. They're algorithms, which are designed to maximize engagement, right? To keep you scrolling. They often push the most aspirational content, which often means the most unattainable content, right to the forefront.
So you can't avoid it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It subconsciously forces that comparison. It creates this endless feedback loop that perpetuates this rigged game in ways we often don't even consciously realize. So you're constantly trying to meet a standard that doesn't truly exist, or maybe it only exists for a fleeting fabricated moment in a photo.
It really makes you think.
It does. And it raises an important question for you, our listener. Can you maybe recall a time when you personally felt this intense pressure, this need to measure up against someone else's seemingly perfect life or achievements you saw online? What was that experience like for you? How did it actually make you feel? Just reflecting on that can be a really powerful step in understanding your own relationship with online content.
It's so relatable, though, and once you start recognizing this dynamic, this measuring up, it's really hard to unsee it, isn't
You
it?
see it everywhere.
And it isn't just about feeling bad momentarily. It often triggers something psychologists call cognitive dissonance.
Ah, dissonance, yes.
So we might hold the belief, maybe subconsciously, that our lives should be fulfilling and exciting, like the ones we see online. But when we're confronted constantly with these endless, perfect highlight reels, it creates this mental clash, this discomfort.
Because our reality doesn't match the online one.
Exactly. And this discomfort, this dissonance, it pushes us to either maybe withdraw from social media or perhaps more commonly, to double down on our own performance.
Yeah.
We post more curated content ourselves to try and alleviate that uncomfortable feeling.
Thereby fueling the cycle even further for others.
Precisely. So the pivotal question becomes, how do we break the cycle? And let me just say, it's far easier said than done.
Oh, much easier.
It really demands a fundamental, quite profound shift in our mindset. It takes active, intentional effort. It means consciously practicing presence, being truly in the moment, cultivating gratitude for the small things, the often unglamorous things, but the truly meaningful things in our everyday lives.
Finding joy in the journey, not just the destination photos.
Exactly. It's about recalibrating what success and happiness actually look like for us as individuals, not what the algorithms or external validation tell us it should look like.
Absolutely. And what's powerful here, I think, is that breaking the cycle doesn't necessarily mean you have to completely delete all your social media apps.
Right. That's not always realistic or even desirable for everyone.
No. Though for some people, that might genuinely be the healthiest and most appropriate response. But often, it's more about becoming a critically engaged consumer of the content.
Okay, critically engaged. What does that mean exactly?
When we say critically engaged, we mean actively and thoughtfully analyzing what you're seeing, not just passively scrolling and absorbing it like a sponge.
So thinking about it.
Yes. Questioning the information, questioning the images, the narratives that are being fed to you. It's about developing a kind of healthy skepticism, almost like putting on a pair of analytical glasses every time you open an app.
I like that analogy. Analytical glasses.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture for a second, how does developing this skill, this ability to be critically engaged, extend beyond just social media?
Good question.
Well, it's vital, isn't it? It's vital for navigating all forms of information consumption in our increasingly digital age. Think about news articles, online ads, political discourse, even academic research sometimes.
It's about media literacy.
Exactly. It's media literacy at its core. It empowers you to discern fact from fiction, truth from manipulation, genuinely valuable content from just noise.
That's such a powerful point. So instead of just accepting what you see at face value, you're interrogating it. You're asking.
Questions like, what is this person really trying to achieve with this post?
Right. What's the hidden agenda? Or maybe just what's the unacknowledged effort behind this apparent perfection?
And perhaps even more importantly, what is the story they are not telling?
Ah, yes. Because every highlight reel, by its very nature, leaves out the vast majority of the real story. The mundane bits, the difficult bits, the unglamorous moments that actually make up authentic human existence.
Precisely. And this active questioning, this critical engagement, it can fundamentally change your relationship with online content. It shifts you from just passive absorption to thoughtful evaluation.
It puts you back in control.
It empowers you, yes. It allows you to take control of your digital experience rather than letting it control you. So for you, the listener, maybe try applying this immediately. Next time you see a post that looks just a bit too perfect, pause for just a moment. Consciously ask yourself those questions. You might actually be surprised by what you start to notice.
Okay, let's pivot slightly now. Let's talk about the whole influencer phenomenon, because on one hand, it's undeniably become a legitimate career path for many people.
It has, yes. A whole new economy, really.
Built on digital reach, allowing creators to monetize their passions sometimes. But on the other hand, it is a path that seems absolutely laden with significant baggage and often unseen pressures.
Definitely unseen pressures.
We often see the glamorous end results, don't we? The sponsored trips, the designer clothes, the huge follower counts.
A curated perfection again.
But we rarely see the relentless grind that goes on behind the scenes, the constant pressure to create compelling content day in, day out.
The need to always be on, always camera ready.
Yeah, and that perpetual struggle to maintain and ideally grow an audience that's constantly seeking novelty, something new. It seems like a never-ending cycle of performance and production, a real digital treadmill.
It really does sound exhausting. And what's truly striking, I think, is how often the substantial mental and emotional toll of being an influencer seems to far outweigh, well, the often disproportionate or inconsistent financial rewards.
Right, because likes don't pay the rent.
Exactly. Likes don't directly pay the bills.
Yeah.
The real income for influencers, it often comes from more complex things like brand partnerships where companies pay them to promote products.
Okay.
Or affiliate marketing, where they earn a commission on sales made through their unique links. Or maybe ad revenue sharing from the platforms themselves.
But you need a big following for that, usually.
Typically, yes. These income streams are usually only accessible once you reach a certain level of authentic engagement, not just followers, but real interaction and a significant follower count. It's a threshold many aspiring influencers actually never meet.
So they're grinding away for potentially nothing.
Or very little. And the constant, insatiable need for that external validation, the likes, the comments, the follower counts, it creates this really dangerous dependency. And for many, it becomes a road that quickly turns into a slippery slope.
Slippery slope. That's another fantastic idiom, isn't it? And it perfectly captures the inherent danger here.
It really does.
So when we talk about a slippery slope, what exactly are we describing?
We're describing a course of action that, once you start it, is very likely to lead to a series of undesirable, maybe even disastrous consequences.
Like sliding down a hill.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Think of it literally like walking on an icy hill. Once you take that first step, that first slide, it's incredibly hard to stop yourself from sliding all the way down. You pick up speed, you lose control.
Okay.
So the source material we looked at used a vivid picture. If you start obsessing over your follower count as an influencer, it's a slippery slope towards losing sight of what's truly important in your life.
Like your mental health.
Your mental health, absolutely. Your real-life relationships, maybe even your financial stability. If you're spending money, even you don't have to keep up appearances. It can subtly but powerfully just redirect all your priorities.
It's such a powerful metaphor because it really highlights that insidious, gradual nature of the decline, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's not usually one big catastrophic event that suddenly derails you. It's more often a series of small, seemingly innocuous steps that lead you to a very difficult place.
Little compromises along the way.
Precisely. You start by just checking your notifications a bit more often. Then you start comparing your numbers to others more intensely. Then you spend more and more time trying to optimize your posts, maybe changing who you are online. And before you know it, you've sacrificed important aspects of your well-being.
And this idiom, slippery slope, is useful beyond just influencer culture, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly useful for describing other potentially self-destructive behaviors online, too. Things like excessive gaming, maybe constant online shopping driven by targeted ads, or even just spending way too much time passively scrolling feeds.
You start with a small habit.
And before you know it, you're on that slippery slope towards maybe addiction or just significant negative consequences where your online persona starts to consume your real life.
Okay, so let's maybe try and imagine a scenario. Let's bring this to life for our listeners and practice some more of this essential vocabulary. Let's talk about Sarah. a young, aspiring fashion influencer.
Okay, Sarah.
She dreams of turning her passion for fashion into a lucrative career, traveling the world, collaborating with top brands, the whole influencer dream.
A dream, yes.
So she starts pouring all her savings into it. Maybe she even gets into significant credit card debt, buying new clothes constantly, renting elaborate locations for photo shoots,
Spending hours perfecting poses.
and then meticulously editing every single photo. She posts religiously, day in, day out, curating this flawless image of herself and her lifestyle.
Okay.
Initially, maybe she sees a few thousand likes on her posts, which feels good, right? That momentary rush of validation.
Dopamine hit.
Exactly. But her actual engagement, meaning people commenting meaningfully, sharing her posts, really interacting deeply, it's consistently low.
Right. Vanity metrics versus real connection.
Precisely. And crucially, despite all this enormous effort and expenditure, she's not actually making any money from it. She's just sinking deeper into debt. And that dream feels further and further away than ever.
Okay, I can picture Sarah, and she must be feeling, well, a cocktail of really difficult, heavy emotions in that situation.
I imagine so.
After months of that relentless grind, constantly being on, constantly creating content, she's got to be completely drained, emotionally, physically exhausted. She's very likely feeling burnt out, probably quite disillusioned, and ultimately maybe even trapped.
Those three words seem to capture it perfectly. Burnt out, disillusioned, trapped.
Yeah, they really paint a picture of her emotional landscape.
Okay, let's unpack those for a second because they're so useful. First, burnt out. What does that really mean?
Burnt out means you're emotionally or physically exhausted, usually by prolonged stress or overwork. Think of a candle that's burned all the way down. There's nothing left but maybe a puddle of wax.
No fuel left.
Exactly. Sarah, after months of that nonstop grind, constantly on, constantly creating, she's just completely drained. She feels like she has nothing left to give. The creative well has run dry. Her energy reserves are utterly depleted.
Okay, that's burnt out. Then disillusioned. That's a powerful one, too.
It is. Disillusion describes that profound sense of disappointment you feel after discovering that something or someone is not as good as you had believed or hoped it would be.
Your illusions are shattered.
Precisely. Sarah probably started with these grand dreams of glamour, creative freedom, financial success. She had these beautiful illusions about what being an influencer would be like.
The highlight reel version of the job.
Right. But the reality she's experiencing is harsh, it's unrewarding, it's financially draining. So her illusions have been completely shattered by the stark, unforgiving reality of the business. She's now seeing the maybe ugly truth behind the glittering facade she once admired.
Okay. And finally, she feels trapped.
Yeah, trapped. This one's fairly self-explanatory, but the feeling itself is profound and often terrifying. She's in a situation she feels she cannot escape.
Why? What traps her?
It could be several things. Maybe the debt she's accumulated feels overwhelming. Maybe it's the psychological investment she's made, all that time and energy. Maybe it's the public image she's built and the fear of admitting failure. Or simply the overwhelming fear of walking away and having no clear path forward.
So the dream becomes a cage.
Exactly. The dream, which once promised liberation and fame, has effectively turned into a cage, and she sees no easy way out. She feels stuck, trapped.
You see how useful these words are. They aren't just for describing influencers, are they?
Not at all. They perfectly describe the emotional landscape of the modern world, really. They help us articulate complex feelings that are incredibly common, whether it's related to work, relationships, or just life pressures.
So mastering these gives you a richer vocabulary.
Definitely. It gives you a richer vocabulary to talk about not just social media, but life in general. So, for example, you might say, after working 80-hour weeks for a year, Mark was feeling
Burnt out.
Exactly, burnt out.
It.
It's the classic example. You can just picture him slumped at his desk, totally exhausted.
Okay, another one.
How about, after discovering the company's unethical practices, the employees became deeply disillusioned.
Yeah.
Their belief in the company's integrity was shattered. They saw behind the corporate facade.
And trapped.
Maybe she felt trapped in a job she hated, but with a mortgage to pay and no other options in sight. You can really feel the weight of that word, the lack of agency.
Yeah, you can. These aren't just terms. They feel like emotional anchors, helping us pinpoint and express really challenging human experiences.
That's a good way to put it. And being able to use them accurately in the right context truly elevates your English fluency. It shows a deeper understanding.
Okay, so if we connect all this back to the bigger picture,
Right.
beyond the emotional toll of the highlight reel and the influencer grind, Let's talk about the specific, now really commonplace vocabulary that has just exploded out of social media culture itself.
Words born online.
Exactly. Words that either didn't exist or certainly weren't used in this way maybe just a decade or so ago. The very fact that terms like ghosting, FOMO, and clickbait are now part of our everyday conversations
You hear them all the time.
all the time. It's a testament, isn't it, to how deeply ingrained this digital culture is in our lives and how rapidly language evolves to describe new social phenomena.
It really is alive.
It's a live, evolving lexicon that, honestly, you absolutely need to grasp to truly understand modern English and, well, modern life.
Absolutely. Understanding these terms is just essential for navigating the modern world,
Yeah.
especially the nuances of digital communication and interaction. Should we define each one?
Yeah, let's do that systematically because their meanings are often tied directly to the social behaviors and anxieties we've already been discussing. They really reflect the unique ways we connect or maybe fail to connect online.
Okay, first up, ghosting.
Ghosting. Not a pleasant one.
No. It refers to the practice of ending a personal relationship. And this could be romantic, platonic, even sometimes a professional connection, by suddenly and completely withdrawing from all communication without any explanation.
Just vanishing.
Exactly. Like disappearing into thin air, like a ghost. You know, imagine you've been messaging someone back and forth for weeks, maybe making plans, and then boom, silence. No replies to your texts, no calls returned. They just vanish from your digital life.
It's confusing and hurtful.
Very. It isn't just rude, it leaves the other person completely bewildered, often without any closure, feeling confused, maybe rejected. It really speaks to a certain lack of direct communication, maybe accountability, that can sometimes be easier online. It feels easier to simply disappear than to have a potentially difficult conversation.
Okay, that's ghosting. What's next?
Next, we have FOMO. F-O-M-O.
Fear of missing out.
Exactly. It's an acronym. Fear of missing out. And it describes that pervasive anxiety, that feeling that an exciting or interesting event or experience or opportunity might be happening somewhere else right now, and crucially, you are not part of it.
That feeling when you're scrolling on a Friday night.
Precisely. You're having a quiet night in, maybe scrolling through your feed, and suddenly you see pictures or videos of everyone you know, it seems, at some amazing party. They're laughing, dancing, looking like they're having the absolute time of their lives.
And you get that ping.
That immediate pang in your stomach, yeah. That feeling of wishing you were there, feeling left out, that's pure FOMO at work. Even if, deep down, you know you probably prefer your quiet night in.
Guilty.
We all are sometimes. It's driven largely by seeing other people's curated highlight reels and feeling excluded. It creates this constant internal pressure to be everywhere, do everything, always be on. And this ties directly back, doesn't it, to our earlier discussion about the illusion of perfection and the constant comparison that social media just thrives on.
That really fuels it. Okay, and the last one you mentioned.
The last one was clickbait.
Yes, the bane of the internet sometimes.
It can feel like it. Clickbait describes online content. Usually it's got sensationalized headlines, maybe really eye-catching or provocative images, or intriguing little snippets of text whose main purpose, really its only purpose, is to attract attention and encourage visitors like you to click on a link to a particular web page.
To get the click.
That's the goal. Often, it achieves this by using exaggerated language, sometimes misleading information, or very emotionally charged phrases. But then, when you actually click through, the content itself delivers very little substance. It's disappointing.
Like those headlines, you won't believe what this celebrity did next.
Exactly. Classic clickbait. And then you click, and it's just a really trivial story, or maybe even just an ad disguised as content. Clickbait essentially preys on our natural curiosity, our desire for novelty, or maybe immediate gratification. But it often leaves us feeling disappointed, maybe manipulated, or just plain annoyed.
It's really fascinating, isn't it, how these words aren't just isolated terms. They feel intrinsically related to the very themes we've been exploring all along today.
They absolutely are. They're interconnected.
Like FOMO directly fuels that illusion of perfection, right? Because we strive to appear engaged and exciting ourselves, partly to avoid feeling left out, we're constantly chasing the next best thing we see online.
And ghosting.
Well, ghosting can feel like a brutal consequence of online relationships that maybe lack the depth or commitment of face-to-face connections. The highlight reel fades, things get a bit real or difficult, and people just vanish.
Easier to ghost than deal with it.
Seems that way sometimes. And clickbait, well, that's like the deceptive promise, isn't it? The marketing hook that perpetuates the idea of these unattainable, perfect lifestyles. It often leads us to content that's utterly devoid of real value, just leaving us feeling empty or maybe even more cynical.
It's all part of the same digital ecosystem, as you said.
Yeah.
Kind of closed loop of language and behavior. Each term really illuminates a distinct aspect of our digital interactions. And the rapid evolution of our language to capture these new social phenomena is, well, it's truly remarkable. It reflects how deeply these online behaviors have permeated our real lives.
They're not just slang anymore.
No, not at all. They are deeply descriptive words that help us understand the nuances, the complexities of digital interaction. Being able to understand and use these terms isn't just about keeping up with trends or trying to speak like a native English speaker. It's about having the vocabulary to actually articulate and critically analyze the forces that are shaping our contemporary lives.
So they're essential tools.
They really are. Essential for anyone who wants to not just understand English, but to understand the world it increasingly describes and to be able to participate meaningfully in conversations about it.
Okay, so after this, well, pretty deep dive into some of the more challenging, maybe even negative aspects of social media and its language, what's the positive spin here? Is there one? How can we actually leverage this whole conversation, these insights, this new vocabulary, not just to understand the digital world better, but to actually improve our English language skills and maybe ultimately our lives?
That's the crucial takeaway, I think. And it's where the real power of doing this kind of deep dive lies. It's not just analysis, it's about application.
Right.
So I think there's several really actionable steps for you, our listener, to embrace. Things that can make this a truly active learning experience, not just passive listening.
Okay, what are they?
First and foremost, I'd say, cultivate awareness. Just constantly acknowledge, remind yourself that the curated content you see online is exactly that.
Curate it. It's not the full picture.
Never the whole story. And very rarely is it an unfiltered representation of reality. This awareness is like your first and most vital shield against the negative impacts we've talked about. Even just being able to consciously think or say to yourself, oh, that looks like a facade, in English, that's a huge step.
How can people cultivate that awareness practically?
Well, you could try using apps that track your screen time just to see how much time you're actually spending scrolling. Or maybe try a digital detox, even just for a few hours each day or one day a week, to intentionally break the scrolling habit and reconnect with the physical world.
Okay, awareness first. What's second?
Second, try to be intentional with your own online contributions if you choose to post. Think mindfully about what you're sharing and why you're sharing it.
Asking yourself questions again.
Exactly. Ask, am I adding to the pressure? Am I contributing to the illusion of perfection? Or, alternatively, am I aiming for a more authentic, maybe more balanced representation of my life?
So maybe sharing the real moments too.
Perhaps. Maybe you decide to share the messy kitchen after you've baked something amazing, or the slightly less glamorous reality of working from home. Or, on the consumption side, maybe you intentionally follow accounts that promote things like body positivity, mental health awareness, or authentic living, actively diversifying your feed away from purely aspirational, often unattainable content.
It's not about being perfect yourself online then.
Not at all. It's more about striving for genuineness, maybe vulnerability,
Yeah.
rather than just flawless performance.
Okay, awareness, intentionality. What's third?
Third, and this is perhaps the most important step for our shared mission here of learning English through this kind of conversation, is practice and application, active use.
Using the words we've discussed.
Exactly. This deep dive has introduced you to a really powerful set of new words and phrases. Facade, measuring up, slippery slope, burnt out, disillusioned, trapped, ghosting, FOMO, clickbait. Don't just listen to them and understand them passively.
Put them to work.
Yes. Actively use them. The more you incorporate them into your own communication, speaking, or writing, the more deeply they'll become part of your active vocabulary. And that empowers you to discuss these complex modern phenomena with much more confidence and precision.
This really is where the rubber meets the road for language learning, isn't it? Don't just let these insights sit passively in your head.
Please don't.
Talk to yourself in English about these concepts. Like when you see a particularly polished post online, consciously think or maybe even say aloud, wow, that post really feels like a facade.
Or maybe, I'm feeling a bit burnt out from work this week, just like that Sarah scenario we talked about.
Right. Or write them down in sentences. Make flashcards if that works for you. Incorporate them into your journaling if you do that. The more you actively produce these words, the more deeply they'll become ingrained. You're building that muscle memory for fluent expression.
And try to use them in different contexts, too. For instance, can you think of a non-social media example of feeling trapped? Or a different kind of slippery slope you've observed or experienced? Stretching the words helps solidify them.
And if you can, maybe the best thing is to find someone to talk to about it.
Oh, absolutely. If you can, I strongly recommend finding a language partner or even just a friend who's also learning English. Have a conversation about this very topic we've discussed today, social media's impact, the language it uses, the illusions it creates, how we can foster healthier digital habits.
Discussing complex ideas is great practice.
It's incredibly effective practice. It pushes your fluency, helps solidify all this new vocabulary, and gets you engaging critically with the world around you all at the same time. This deep dive, really, it isn't just meant to be passive listening. We hope it's a springboard for your active learning and personal growth. We want to enable you to express sophisticated thoughts and feelings about what is, let's face it, a really pervasive aspect of modern life.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive today. We've really journeyed through quite a lot, haven't we?
We covered some ground.
From the pervasive illusion of the highlight reel, unpacking its significant psychological toll by understanding concepts like social comparison theory and cognitive dissonance,
To exploring the unique pressures and the slippery slope of the whole influencer phenomenon.
and then decoding that vital new lexicon of the digital age, ghosting, FOMO, clickbait, and the rest. What seems really clear, I think, is that understanding the language used online is absolutely key. Key to truly understanding the experience itself, and maybe more importantly, key for navigating it with greater awareness and hopefully resilience.
It really is about being an active participant in your own information consumption, isn't it? Not just a passive receiver, absorbing everything. The words we choose and the words we internalize from our environment, they genuinely shape our understanding of reality and our ability to interact with it.
And that leads me perfectly to our final provocative thought for you, our dedicated listener, something to maybe ponder long after this deep dive concludes.
Okay.
If the language we use really does shape our reality, what reality are we actually co-creating with the words we choose to use, or maybe just the words we silently accept when we're on social media?
That's a big question.
It is. Are we building a world of genuine connection and authentic expression? Or are we collectively building one based on carefully constructed illusions and the endless chase for superficial validation?
Something to definitely think about. And we really encourage you to continue practicing your English, of course, but also to continue engaging critically with all the information you encounter, both online and offline, and maybe reflect on your own digital habits after listening today.
Absolutely. And hey, we genuinely love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on social media now after this conversation? Has anything shifted for you? Do you truly believe it's mainly a force for good in the world, or do you personally find it to be a significant source of anxiety in your own life?
Yeah, share your perspective. And try using some of the new vocabulary you've learned today. Facade, measuring up, FOMO, burnt out. Practice articulating these complex ideas in English. Let's keep this important conversation going.
Definitely. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and above all, try to keep it real, both online and, more importantly, in your incredible actual life.